Hey, welcome back. It's been a while since I've made a video, and I can blame that on teacher summer break. So I'm finally getting back into it. Of course, we're getting ready to start the new school year, and one of the things I kind of looked at was metahumans. I've been thinking about metahumans for a while, and I was just in an Epic Games accelerator for teachers, for educators, and they talked about metahumans and all of the great things about metahumans and how you can go in and create your own character using metahumans. And then there was some discussion about actually getting it into a game. So here is a tutorial I put together to try to show you an easy way to put it into a game using the existing controllers, the characters that are in there already, Manny and Quinn, which are inside of the UE 5.2. There are some issues with 5.2. They've changed the way actually I wouldn't say issues, there are some things about 5.2 that they've changed. They're not really issues, they're just upgrades and changes. So the way you used to put metahumans in and be able to run them around, there's a couple little things we have to do to make them work now because they don't work straight out of the box just by throwing them in from some of the previous demos and videos that are out there and some of the actual literature that came from Unreal Engine. So with that, let's go ahead and take a look at what we're talking about here, okay? All right, so here we are in Epic, but let's go ahead and jump over to the actual website for metahumans. This is where you can go to get your metahumans, and you can create them. You have to have an account. You can launch the metahuman creator from here, and this may take a few seconds, so I'm going to go ahead and pause while we wait. All right, so now we're kind of getting this page, so you should see it eventually jump to this page. And again, like it says, it can take a couple minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and pause and wait for it to finish. All right, so here we go. This will be where you end up. Now, I have created some metahumans and also just kind of grabbed some off of the off the Create website right here. Just kind of throwing them in here as demos to some past classes. So that's why I already have some in here. This is one, this little symbol up here is a mesh to metahuman. So this was a model I had created in Maya and then was able to import the mesh and create a metahuman out of that as well. So this is a pretty cool website. You can do a lot with it. Now it'll put it on their base skeleton and you take your mesh, and really what it is just the headpiece of your model that would be put in as a model for metahumans, not the entire character. Now, once you select it, you can go in, you can modify it. I'm not really going to get into all of that for this. I just kind of wanted to show you where you can go to get your metahumans and how you can create them. So right here, you can go to the Create button, and it'll pop over to the Create page. I'm not going to go into all of this, mostly because I just wanted to show you where it was, and there's plenty of websites out there and plenty of tutorials showing you how to create your own metahumans. And it's just sort of something you can get in there and just play around with. But once you've got your metahumans created, go to your metahumans, you can select one, okay, and you can edit it as well, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and minimize this, get it out of the way. So we're going to go to our library now, okay, and in Unreal Engine, I'm going to launch 5.2. Now, again, showing you this at 5.3 is just now coming out, so who knows, things are going to change maybe again, but for 5.2, this is what I do to get a metahuman into my game as a player controlled character. All right, so I'm just going to launch a game, and it's going to be call it Metahuman Demo. It's going to be a third-person game. I'm just going to leave all this at default for right now. I am going to change where this project is going to go. My C drive is not really all that big. Okay, so my Unreal Engine project folder, I'm going to select that folder, and we're going to create that, okay? So real simple, usual way of creating it, nothing special so far. Now you will need to make sure you have an Unreal Engine account for all of this, of course, and to be able to sign into the metahumans as well as into Epic. Okay, so one of the things we're going to need is we're going to need to have Bridge open. I'm just going to close it real quick. Up here under Windows is one way to get to it. Right down here at Quixel Bridge. Okay, and then once it's open, you'll need to sign in. Okay, right up over here in this corner with your metahumans. You can click on it. You'll have some base metahumans you can pick from, and then you also have this one called My Metahumans for any metahumans that you created. So these are some of the ones I've already downloaded. The little check mark means I've downloaded them. If they're not, you can download them the same way you would any other asset in Bridge by hitting the little green arrow and downloading. Now it takes quite a long time depending on your internet connection. Okay, but once you have it in, then the blue arrow would be the way that you can actually put it into your project. So I have my project open. I'm going to pick Rowan over here, and I'm going to hit the arrow. Okay, now he's in. Again, depending on the speed of your machine, it may take a little bit longer to get it in there, but if we go down to the content drawer, down in here we'll see we now have a folder that says metahumans. We also have this one called third person, okay? So let's go ahead and take a look at our metahuman. Here's Rowan, and this is the blueprint for the metahuman. And if we take a look at it here, we can see that the parent class, if I hover over this, the parent class is about halfway down. It says it's an actor, okay? It's not a character, so that's why this will not just work by throwing it in. It has to be a character in order to be able to control it. Remember, if we go to our blueprint classes and we take a look, right here, an actor is an object that can be placed or spawned in the world. But a character is a type of pawn that includes the ability to walk around and basically is being controlled by a controller, okay? And it is a sub of a pawn, which is a pawn as an actor that can be possessed and receive input from a controller. Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and open up Rowan. Double click on that blueprint. And the first time it may take a few seconds. Let me pause and save a few moments. But you notice as soon as I push the pause button, it pops back up. All right, so here's Rowan. Now, with him opening up, we're going to get a bunch of things telling us that we're missing these plugins. We need these plugins. So I'm going to enable, and I'm going to enable, and then it should pop up with a restart required. So we're going to do a restart now. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and open up that asset. And if this doesn't pop back up, what we're opening up is Rowan again. So back here in your metahumans folder. Okay, so now we have Rowan opened up. I'm going to take this tab, I'm going to park it right up here. And if I look at the viewport, this is Rowan, and we got to build the shaders. There we go. Okay. Now, what we're interested in is taking his mesh. So these parts over here, we're not going to take his body. We're going to take feet all the way down to beard. And we're going to copy and paste those. But I'll show you that process here in a second. So let's first jump back over to our third-person map and go to our content drawer. And down in here, we're going to go back up to content. Right here's our third person. I'm going to double click that. We're going to go into blueprints, okay? And what we're going to do is right here where it says BP third person, I'm just going to click one time on that. I'm going to hit Control D as in dog or delta, right? And I am going to change the name of that because what we're doing is we're duplicating that blueprint. We don't want to change our original blueprint. And I'm going to go ahead and call this Rowan underscore player. Okay, so BP underscore Rowan underscore player, just like that. So BP for blueprint, Rowan underscore player. And now I'm going to double click and open that one up. Okay. Over here in the top it says Rowan player, BP Rowan player. If we go all the way over here to the right hand side under details, so the details tab should be open. If it's not, you can go up to your windows and select details and it'll pop up. Okay. So right here is your details. We're going to come down here to where it says skeletal mesh. So it should be mesh, skeletal mesh, and it should have Quinn in here. So Quinn simple. I'm just going to hit that little arrow to the right, and we're going to get rid of that. I'll compile it and save it real quick. It doesn't really matter, but because we're going to place it in a minute. And what we've done is if we pop down here to the mesh, we'll see that the skeletal mesh for Quinn is now gone. Okay. All right. So with that done, and it's been renamed, we're going to go back to this BP Rowan, so the original character where we have Rowan in here. On the left-hand side, under Components, we're going to select Feet, or whatever the top one is under Body. Okay, we do not want to select Body, but everything under Body we're going to select. And I'm going to do a Shift select. I'm going to hold Shift and Select, so everything should get selected. I'm going to copy it, so Control-C, or you can right-click and copy. Either way. And then we're going to go back to our blueprint Rowan player that we made. We're going to select the viewport. And we can see there's nothing in there. So where the mesh is right here, I'm going to select it. I'm going to right click, or you can hit Control-V and paste it. And it'll paste it into the scene. Now it didn't actually paste it onto the mesh. It just threw it underneath all of this. So with it still selected, and if it deselected, go back in and select everything here. And for some reason, it's giving me a little bit of problems here. It didn't keep all of the names of everything I wanted. So I'm going to hit Control-Z. Sometimes that happens. Let me go back. I'm going to deselect. Maybe close Rowan real quick. All of the naming convention got lost, and I don't know why. But I'm going to go back into my Metahuman. If you had that happen, just close it out like I did, and then go back in and reopen it. And we're going to try that again. I'm going to select everything, Shift Select, Control-C for copy, go back over here, select the mesh, and Control-V to paste. And it's still doing that same thing. All right, I'm going to undo it one more time. So I'm going to pause. What I'm going to do is I'm going to restart my project. I could go in and rename each one of these, but that's a little bit of a hassle, especially since it only takes a few seconds to close and reopen. So I'm just going to go ahead and pause. I'm going to close my Unreal Engine, and I'm going to open it back up, okay? And open my project up. Okay, I'm back. I closed it. I'm opening my project back up. Now, if you didn't have that happen, obviously you don't have to close it, but come on. Sometimes things just get a little bit sticky. All right, I'm going to go ahead and open up all my assets I had. I only had the two major ones open. Okay, so I'm going to go back into the Rowan blueprint, the basic blueprint, the viewport, where he's actually physically in right now. Again, everything under body, I'm going to select. I'm going to copy, Control-C, copy it. Go back over here, click on Mesh, Control-V, and there we have it. Okay, so everything came in with the proper naming convention. Okay, legs, face, torso. So we should have everything in here, and his feet. His feet are all the way up there. So we're going to do with it still selected. Everything still needs to be selected. We're going to select it, and we're going to click and drag and drop it onto Mesh. Okay? I'm going to take a look at the viewport. Click on viewport right here, and you can see everything's kind of weird now. His hair's down here, his head and body's all the way up here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to, with everything still selected, I'm going to come over here to the right-hand side for details, and I'm going to go ahead and put it all back at 0 by hitting these little arrows, okay? And now, once he's in the right position, facing the right direction, he should be facing the direction of this blue arrow that's sticking out of his groin area, in the middle of his body. And we're going to go ahead and put his hair back where it belongs, okay? So we're going to select Fuzz, and we're going to hold Control and select eyelashes, eyebrows, hair, mustache. Even though my character doesn't have all these things, they're all there, okay? Those are the little ports for them. And we're going to click and drag and drop them back on face, okay? And when we do that, his face should now his head, hair and everything should be back where it belongs. And even though we didn't put a beard and all that and mustache, you can see that there's all these little facial hairs that are on here, like a human skin has, right? We have those little tiny hairs on our face. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and give him his hands and feet back, okay? It looks like he has no ankles. So what we're going to do is all the way up here at the very top where it says BP Rowan Player, I'm going to select that. Over here where it says Skeletal Mesh, I'm going to hit the down arrow. And what we should be looking for is something that has a naming convention like this. So it should be male. So I've used, obviously, my skeletal mesh is also uploaded for my female characters here too. But this is actually a male, so M_medium normal body weight. So it should be something like this. And if you're confused by what it actually is, go back to your original Rowan. And if you select the top one, actually no, not the top one. If you select any parts of his body, you should see over here under details, M, medium, NRW body, right? So that's what we're looking for to put over here on our character in the skeletal mesh, because that's what's missing. And we're also going to have to put in some other things as well. So we're going to put this in first, and his hands are going to pop in. And because there's already some animation with the original Quinn, we see some movement. He kind of pops in, and we get a little bit of connection here, okay? So that's good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go down here to the mesh. Just double check, make sure that has the same one in it. It should. We're going to go to legs, okay? And for his legs, we need to select his skeletal mesh. So we're going to hit the down arrow, okay? And again, if you're not sure what it should be, okay, it's probably M_. And let's see here. Okay, I'm not seeing it, so I'm going to take that out. And I'm going to jump back over to my original Rowan. I'm going to select his legs, and it's M_MED, so it should be cargo pants. All right, so we're looking for something with cargo pants in it. So if we go back over here, hit the down arrow again. Nope, not for animation. We're not ready for that yet. We're going to go ahead and just type in cargo, and it should pop up with cargo pants. There we go. So we're going to select that for his mesh. And for his animation class, we're not going to worry about that right now because we're going to change. Well, actually, yeah, let me go ahead and do that. So we're going to go ahead and select that. And we're going to select Quinn right now because that's what is on the base part. And you can see his body snaps into place there, right? And I'm going to show you why this doesn't work quite so well. Okay, so now we're going to go down to feet. We're going to do the same thing for feet. We're going to find the mesh. We're going to type in feet because that's what it should be, and it doesn't come up. Oh, it's because it's based off of his shoes. That's why. So if we go back over here, click on his feet. There we have it, flats. Feet's not in there at all. It's flats. So let's go ahead and find his flats. And it's going to depend on what shoes you pick, of course. Mine, I picked these blue flats. And we're going to go ahead and put the animation on there too. For his feet, we're going to put Quinn on there so his feet snap into place. And his face should already be okay, but it doesn't seem to be. So we're going to hit the down arrow, and we need to find his face. Okay. And there's my Rowan face mesh. We're going to select that. And his animation should already be on there for his face. Okay. And the last thing we need to worry about is the torso. And again, the torso is going to be based off of the clothing that you picked, most likely. So if we pick his torso here, it's going to be a hoodie for me. Okay, top hoodie. So let me find his hoodie. All right. Now I'm not going to put the animation in for his torso because it's already being affected by the animation that came in with his hands and feet, his hands and ankles, okay? So I'm going to compile this, and what we're going to do is we're now going to add it into our character. Now, he's not going to work right, but I want to show you why he's not working right, and then we're going to fix it, okay? So I'm going to go up here to my third-person map and select window, okay? So under your third-person map window, we're going to find our world settings, okay? If you don't already have it open, it should pop up over here or somewhere on your screen. And mine, I have it parked over here next to my details. And if I take a look right here for game mode, right here it says game mode, and you should see BP third person right there, right? So underneath that is going to say selected game mode. I'm going to hit the down arrow, and right now the default pawn class is this BP third person character. If I hit the down arrow, we should see our BP, mine's name is Rowan, whatever you named your character is going to be in there, okay? All right, so we're going to go ahead and select our BP Rowan player, okay? That's my character, and I'm going to go ahead and hit play. There he is in the scene. We've got him in there. He's now our player character. No longer the mannequins are. And if I hit play, you see he kind of does this weird boogie shuffle thing. That's what is broken in 5.2. Everything we just did should have made him work. And in 5.1 and previous versions with the metahumans available, he would run. But he's not running. So we got to fix that. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. Okay. I'm going to first save my Rowan in case my Unreal Engine crashes. What we're going to do is we're going to go into our third person map here. We're going to go down to our content drawer, go back to content. We're going to find our characters. Was it characters? Mannequins and animations. Yes. So content, characters, mannequins, animations, and we want to find. So we are using the animation blueprint for Quinn. Okay, but if I double click it, you'll see that this is a child of the AP Manny, so the animation blueprint for Manny. So all of the controls that are implemented for Quinn actually come from the Manny character. So we can go ahead and close that one. Actually, there it is. I didn't have it parked. All right, and we're going to open up we're going to actually just click on Manny. Okay, just click on it. We're going to do a Control D and we're going to duplicate it. And I am going to just I'm going to leave this named as APB underscore Manny underscore. I'm going to type in alt as an alternate, okay? And that gives me a completely fresh new blueprint. We don't want to modify this blueprint because we may want to use it again, right? So we're going to modify this one instead, the one we just named. So we're going to double click and open that one up. And with it open, I'm going to park it up here. What we want to do is it opens up an event graph. So we see the event graph right here. We actually want to open up our anim graph right here, our animation graph. So we'll double click on that and that'll pop open and you should have something like this with locomotion, main states. What we're running into is right here. They've changed the control method of the way the feet work in these mannequins. So if we click over here on details, if I click on it and we scroll down, right here for control rig class is using the CR basic foot IK. Okay, we don't want that one. But the thing is, if we go in and change it, it's going to throw up a default error. Okay, it's going to give us an error that we won't be able to use it properly. So I'm just going to select those here. I'm going to drag them down just a little bit. I'm going to just bypass it. I'm going to not do that. Whoa, I'm out of control. I'm going to hover over the little character here until I get the little cross, and then I'm going to drag it over. I'm going to compile it. Now what we've done is we've bypassed this right here, okay? I'm going to go ahead and save it. I'm going to go back into my BP Rowan player right here. And everywhere that we've changed this animation right here, so I'm going to click on the BP Rowan player at the top. I'm going to hit the down arrow, and I'm going to select APB Manny Alt. Now I'm not going to change his torso, but I am going to change the other ones, okay? I'm going to select mesh, make sure that it's got alt in it. It does. Legs will not because it doesn't automatically change. So we're going to change that. I'm also going to change his feet. So his shoes should pop back on now. There we go. His shoes are back on. And like I said, I'm going to leave the torso empty. It doesn't seem to need one because the torso is working with the higher level animation blueprint from the mesh. I'm going to compile it, save it, go back in here, hit play, and now Rowan should run and jump just fine. Okay. All right, so yeah, that's pretty much it as far as being able to get our character in there. Now, you should be able to retarget, but that's going to be a completely different lesson set. So you can retarget other animations using this skeleton and get additional animations that are out there. And I'm thinking about putting together some tutorials on that. So if you have any questions, again, you can go ahead and put them down in the comment section, down in my channel here. Like this video if you liked what you saw, and please subscribe if you want to come back for more. I'll see you next time.